What's up, everyone? This is Nimish. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to talk about the latest Malayalam movie, Ronth. This movie stars Dileesh Pothan and Roshan Mathew. Directed by Shahi Kabir, is an ex-police officer who has written some great movies and also directed Ella Veera Punchira. He has written Nayattu. He has written Officer on Duty. He has written Joseph. All of these are police procedural, police-related movies, and so he brings his real-world experience to the film industry and continues to deliver some absolutely insightful, hot, dark, realistic takes into the world of policing. And we have Rond, which means patrol, and the format of the movie is similar to action hero Biju, wherein you get to see what happens in the day of a life of a police officer. In this case, what all can happen on a night of patrol, what are the different kinds of cases they can encounter, and so on, while exploring the relationship between the senior police officer played by Dileesh Pothan and the young, new to the job Roshan Mathew. As you can tell from this concept and the characterization, there is already a very interesting premise and setup, because you have one side someone who's very experienced, has seen so much that nothing really phases them anymore, and someone who's new, who is yet to witness, like a crime scene or a dead body or something that they were not expecting to witness. Someone who's first week of duty, first few days, and they're ready to sort of take on and don't know what to expect. So that contrast itself is a beautiful characterization and absolutely incredibly portrayed by the two mega talented actors, Dileesh Pothan and Roshan Mathew. I mean, I don't know if there is any movie that Dileesh Pothan can do wrong, and I think I say this every time I talk about him. The last time I spoke about him was in Osepinte Osiata. If you've not checked out that review, do check it out. Another absolutely fantastic movie. And he also did the underrated Oh Baby, which I think is one of the best movies to come out of the industry, and people should watch that and talk about that movie more. But Dileesh Pothan, once again delivers an absolutely fantastic layered character that is different from various other roles that he has portrayed, and completely kills it in this movie once again. And Roshan Mathew, who I recently also watched in Kan Khajura, the Hindi web series, where he was such simply unbelievably good, now has, to see him fully contrast and do something completely different, where he's more naive, he's sort of more fragile, he's sort of more tense, he's sort of more anxious because it's his first day. He's dealing and coping with everything he's seeing during the night. To see that kind of a character is absolutely delivered incredibly as well. So two fine actors taking on the lead roles in this film, and their chemistry and their banter and their sort of back and forth is explored very well as well. The cases that they see are also something that will make you wonder and think about the difficulties of being a police officer and the things you have to see out of nowhere. Normally, many of us will encounter the police doing patrols if we are sitting outside in public during the night, if we are driving home late, and things like that, and we don't necessarily see what those patrol officers, what all they have to go through in one full night. And while not every night needs to be that eventful like this movie is, the things they have seen the night before, the day after, etc., puts them in a position where, it's just extremely respectful to see how and what all they have to see, what are the places they have to go to, the middle of nowhere, a house with a creepy history, a house with murders that has happened, characters that are mentally unstable, they have to deal with domestic violence, kids, accidents, suicide calls. They have to deal with so many different things, and the way this movie shows how in one night there are so many things that can happen that the policemen deal with is absolutely eye opening and is absolutely sort of heart wrenching as well. The story itself takes a turn. I mentioned Action Hero Biju, by the way, but Action Hero Biju is a much more entertaining, light-hearted comedy film. But it's the same sort of sequence, right? It's the same sort of basic premise of the various cases and the various events the police go through. But this one is much more darker, much more realistic. And the way the story is sort of written takes a bits and pieces of the various cases and culminates them as you keep going, so it's not fully disjointed, and that is actually an extremely intelligent way to write it, because you won't predict what's going to happen next, what links to what, where this full story actually comes together, where the first scene comes, when the last scene happens, you got to know the full circle of the film that it has gone through. And so the way it's written and portrayed is also very intelligent, and this movie in its final act sort of goes into places that will leave you extremely disturbed, extremely thought provoked, extremely, affected in ways that you will not predict even in the first half of this movie. So the writing and the way this film escalates from one thing to another and suddenly gets into that final act that will leave you just sitting there staring at your screen, like you might have in several other Malayalam movies that take up a dark topic or a serious topic that is so realistically portrayed. This is one of those. So be prepared if you haven't watched it yet for, a night of thought, a night of being affected, a night of being impacted by what you saw on screen. Absolutely stunning impact delivered by Ronth. Great performances, as I said, great writing, great direction. Shahi Kabir has been associated with pretty much all successful projects and continues to do so. Looking forward to much more from him as well. But if you haven't checked out Round, go check it out. It's absolutely worth it. And if you have watched it, leave your thoughts and comments below on what you liked about the film, what you maybe didn't like about the film. So, highly recommend. Another absolute knockout from the Malayalam film industry that keeps continuing to give the audiences treat after treat. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Keep watching for much more.